As the sun sets over the Himalayan peaks, the valleys of Bhutan glow with golden light, and the chants of monks echo softly through ancient temples. From sacred monasteries to untouched forests, Bhutan is a land where nature, culture, and spirituality exist in perfect harmony. We hope this journey has inspired you to explore, reflect, and experience the beauty of this remarkable kingdom for yourself. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to join us on more journeys to the world's most amazing places. Imagine a place where mountains touch the sky, where ancient monasteries cling to cliffs, and where happiness is valued more than wealth. A place so peaceful and untouched that time itself feels slower. Welcome to Bhutan, the last Himalayan kingdom, a hidden world of spirituality, nature, and timeless tradition. This is not just a destination. This is a journey into a different way of life, where people believe true richness comes from peace, community, and connection with nature. Bhutan lies tucked between India and China, high in the eastern Himalayas. For centuries, it remained isolated from the modern world, protecting its culture, its landscapes, and its identity. Even today, Bhutan limits tourism to preserve its natural beauty and traditions. This careful protection has made Bhutan one of the most pristine and authentic countries on Earth, a place where modern life and ancient wisdom exist side by side. As you travel through Bhutan, the scenery feels almost unreal. Towering snow-covered peaks rise above deep green valleys. Rivers carve through mountains, creating breathtaking gorges and fertile plains. Forests stretch endlessly, home to rare wildlife and sacred landscapes. Prayer flags flutter in the wind, carrying hopes and blessings across the valleys. Everywhere you look, nature feels alive, powerful, and sacred. Bhutan is often called the land of the thunder dragon. Thunderstorms roll through the mountains with dramatic force, echoing through valleys like the roar of a mythical creature. But beyond the thunder and mist, there is a calm that is hard to find anywhere else. Villages are quiet, roads are winding and peaceful. Life moves at a gentle pace, guided by tradition and faith rather than speed and pressure. What makes Bhutan truly unique is its philosophy of gross national happiness. Instead of focusing only on economic growth, Bhutan measures success by the happiness and well-being of its people. The government protects the environment, preserves culture, and promotes mental and spiritual health. Forests are protected by law. Traditional clothing is encouraged. Festivals, rituals, and community life are deeply valued. In Bhutan, progress is not about skyscrapers and technology alone, but about harmony between people and nature. Spirituality is woven into every part of Bhutanese life. Buddhism shapes the culture, architecture, and daily routines. Monasteries sit on mountain ridges and hidden valleys. Monks chant prayers that echo through temples and villages. Stupas, prayer wheels, and sacred symbols appear everywhere, reminding people of compassion, mindfulness, and the cycle of life. Even travelers feel a sense of calm and reflection while walking through Bhutan's sacred landscapes. Bhutanese architecture is instantly recognizable. Whitewashed walls, wooden windows, and intricate carvings decorate homes, temples, and fortresses known as dzongs. These structures are not just beautiful, they are symbols of Bhutan's identity and history. Dzongs serve as religious centers, government offices, and community gathering places. They stand proudly in valleys and along rivers, blending perfectly with the surrounding mountains. The people of Bhutan are warm, humble, and deeply connected to their traditions. Men wear the go, a knee-length robe tied with a belt, while women wear the kira, a traditional woven dress. These garments are not just clothing, but expressions of heritage and pride. In markets and villages, you will see people smiling, talking, and sharing stories. Life here is centered on family, community, and faith. Bhutan's landscapes change dramatically from south to north. In the south, lush subtropical forests and rice fields stretch across the lowlands. As you travel north, the air becomes cooler, the forests denser, and the mountains taller. Alpine meadows, glaciers, and high-altitude passes create some of the most stunning scenery in the world. Every region feels like a different world, yet all are connected by Bhutan's peaceful spirit. Traveling through Bhutan feels like stepping into a living storybook. Roads wind through misty mountains. Small villages appear around bends in the road, with prayer flags and traditional homes. Farmers work in terraced fields, and yaks graze on high mountain pastures. Bells ring in temples, and incense fills the air. The modern world feels far away, replaced by a sense of timeless beauty and simplicity. Bhutan is not just a place you visit. It is a place that changes how you think. It challenges the idea that success is measured by money and speed. It shows that happiness can come from nature, culture, and community. It reminds us that slowing down can be powerful, and that preserving traditions can be a form of progress. As we begin this journey through the most amazing places in Bhutan, prepare to discover breathtaking monasteries, vibrant festivals, peaceful valleys, and majestic mountains. Each destination tells a story of faith, history, and harmony with nature. This is a land where legends live in the clouds, and where every mountain, river, and temple carries meaning. So take a deep breath. Imagine the cool mountain air, and let your mind wander into the heart of the Himalayas. This is Bhutan, a kingdom of happiness, spirituality, and wonder. And this is just the beginning of our adventure. High above the Paro Valley, where clouds drift slowly across the mountains and the wind carries ancient prayers, there is a place that feels almost unreal. A monastery clinging to a vertical cliff, suspended between earth and sky, as if built by faith alone. This is Paro Taksang, known to the world as the Tiger's Nest Monastery, one of the most sacred and breathtaking spiritual sites in Asia. The journey to Tiger's Nest begins in the quiet town of Paro, surrounded by green fields, forests, and snow-capped peaks. From the valley floor, the monastery looks impossibly distant, a tiny structure carved into a sheer rock face more than 3,000 feet above the ground. It seems to defy gravity, as if it should not exist at all. Yet for centuries, pilgrims and travelers have climbed the mountain to reach this sacred place. The hike to Tiger's Nest is an experience in itself. The trail winds through dense pine forests, where the scent of pine needles mixes with mountain air. Prayer flags hang from trees, fluttering in the breeze, carrying mantras and blessings across the valley. As you climb higher, the sounds of the world below fade away. All that remains is the rhythm of footsteps, the rustling of leaves, and the distant call of birds. Legend says that Guru Rinpoche, also known as Padmasambhava, flew to this cliff on the back of a tigress in the 8th century. He meditated here for months, subduing demons and spreading Buddhism throughout the Himalayas. The monastery was later built around the cave where he meditated, turning this wild cliff into one of the most sacred pilgrimage sites in Bhutan. For Bhutanese people, Tiger's Nest is not just a tourist attraction, but a living symbol of faith and devotion. As the trail climbs higher, the view becomes more dramatic. The Paro Valley stretches below like a green tapestry, with winding rivers, small villages, and terraced fields. Mist drifts through the mountains, sometimes hiding the monastery, sometimes revealing it in full glory. Each step feels like moving closer to a sacred world, separated from everyday life. Near the top, a viewpoint reveals the monastery in its full magnificence. Whitewashed walls and golden roofs cling to the dark rock, connected by narrow stairways and bridges. The contrast between the bright buildings and the rugged cliff creates a scene that feels cinematic and surreal. It is one of the most photographed places in Bhutan, and yet no photograph can fully capture the feeling of standing there in person. Crossing the final bridge and climbing the steep steps, visitors reach the monastery complex. Inside, the atmosphere changes instantly. The air is filled with the scent of incense and butter lamps. Monks chant prayers, their voices echoing softly through ancient halls. Walls are covered with colorful murals depicting Buddhist teachings, deities, and stories from centuries ago. Statues of Buddhas and spiritual masters glow in candlelight, creating a sense of calm and reverence. From the balconies of Tiger's Nest, the world below looks distant and small. Clouds drift past at eye level. The valley feels far away, and time seems to slow down. Many visitors describe a deep sense of peace here, as if the mountains themselves are whispering ancient wisdom. It is a place that invites silence, reflection, and awe. Tiger's Nest is also a symbol of Bhutan's spiritual identity. It represents the connection between nature and faith, between the physical world and the spiritual journey. The monastery has survived fires, earthquakes, and centuries of change, yet it remains a powerful center of devotion. For Bhutanese people, it is a reminder of their roots and their beliefs. For travelers, it is a reminder of how powerful and mysterious the world can be. The hike back down offers new perspectives. The monastery slowly disappears into the mist, leaving behind a sense of wonder and humility. The forest feels quieter, the valley more peaceful. Many travelers leave Tiger's Nest feeling transformed, carrying a piece of its serenity with them. Perched is not just a place you visit. It is an experience that stays with you long after you leave. It is a symbol of courage, faith, and the human desire to reach higher, both physically and spiritually. High above the Paro Valley, on a cliff that touches the clouds, Tiger's Nest continues to inspire pilgrims, adventurers, and dreamers from around the world. And as the prayer flags continue to flutter in the Himalayan wind, Tiger's Nest stands as a timeless reminder that some of the most incredible wonders on earth are built not only with stone and wood, but with belief, devotion, and the human spirit. In the heart of the Himalayas, where tradition meets gentle modern life, lies Thimphu, the capital city of Bhutan. Unlike any other capital in the world, Thimphu has no traffic lights, no towering skyscrapers, and no chaotic rush. Instead, it offers a rare blend of calm city life, ancient culture, and breathtaking mountain scenery. This is a place where progress moves slowly and thoughtfully, guided by tradition and a deep respect for heritage. Thimphu sits in a wide valley along the Wangchu River, surrounded by forested hills and distant snow-capped peaks. From above, the city looks like a peaceful village that has grown with time, not with ambition. Traditional buildings with white walls and carved wooden windows line the streets, and even modern structures follow strict architectural rules to preserve Bhutan's unique identity. Here, the past is not replaced by the future. It lives alongside it. One of the most iconic landmarks in Thimphu is the Buddha Dordenma, a massive golden statue of Buddha overlooking the city from a hilltop. Rising high above the valley, the statue seems to watch over Thimphu in silence and compassion. Inside the statue, thousands of smaller Buddha figures are arranged in meditation halls, creating a powerful spiritual atmosphere. From the viewpoint, the entire valley spreads out below, with the river winding through the city and mountains framing the horizon. At the center of Thimphu stands Punakha Dzong, a grand fortress and monastery that serves as the seat of Bhutan's government and religious institutions. With its towering white walls, red roofs, and intricate woodwork, the Dzong looks like a palace from a fairy tale. Inside, monks chant in quiet courtyards, and officials work in offices that blend tradition with modern administration. Punakha Dzong is not just a building. It is a symbol of Bhutan's unity between spirituality and governance. Walking through Thimphu's streets feels like stepping into a living museum. Traditional shops sell handmade textiles, wooden carvings, prayer flags, and religious artifacts. Markets are filled with fresh fruits, vegetables, and spices from the surrounding valleys. Locals wear traditional clothing with pride, walking calmly through the city, greeting each other with warm smiles. Even in the capital, life feels personal and connected. Thimphu is also the cultural heart of Bhutan. Museums and cultural centers preserve centuries of art, history, and craftsmanship. The National Institute for Zorig Chusum teaches students the 13 traditional arts of Bhutan, including painting, carving, and embroidery. Watching young artists practice ancient skills shows how deeply Bhutan values its heritage and how carefully it passes knowledge to the next generation. Despite its traditional appearance, Thimphu is not frozen in time. Cafes, bookstores, and small modern shops exist alongside monasteries and temples. Young people use smartphones, listen to music, and study modern subjects, yet they still wear traditional clothing and celebrate ancient festivals. Thimphu shows that modern life does not have to erase tradition. It can grow while respecting its roots. Nature is never far away in Thimphu. Just a short drive from the city center, hiking trails lead into quiet forests, mountain ridges, and peaceful monasteries hidden in the hills. Prayer flags mark sacred spots, and small temples appear in unexpected places. The sound of city life fades quickly, replaced by birdsong, wind, and the gentle flow of rivers. In Thimphu, nature and city life are inseparable. The people of Thimphu live at a slower, more mindful pace. There is no rush to compete with the world. Instead, there is a focus on community, spirituality, and well-being. Children walk to school in traditional dress, elders spin prayer wheels along temple paths, and families gather in the evenings to share meals and stories. Happiness here is found in simple moments, not in constant movement. As the sun sets behind the mountains, Thimphu transforms into a quiet, glowing valley. Lights reflect on the river. Prayer flags flutter softly in the evening breeze, and the golden Buddha statue shines against the dark sky. The city feels peaceful, protected by mountains and guided by tradition. Thimphu is not a typical capital city. It is a reflection of Bhutan's soul, where ancient wisdom shapes modern life, and where progress is measured by peace, culture, and happiness. In this calm Himalayan valley, you begin to understand why Bhutan is considered one of the most unique and inspiring countries on Earth, where two rivers meet and mountains open into fertile plains. A majestic fortress rises like a vision from another time. This is Punakha, a valley of warmth, history, and beauty, often called the jewel of Bhutan. Compared to the cool highlands, Punakha feels gentle and welcoming, with rice fields, blooming flowers, and a softer climate that makes it one of the most pleasant regions in the kingdom. Punakha was once the capital of Bhutan, and its heart is the magnificent Punakha Dzong, also known as the Palace of Great Happiness. Built at the confluence of the Pho-Chu and Mo-Chu rivers, this massive fortress monastery seems to float between the waters, connected to the land by a traditional wooden bridge. With its white walls, golden roofs, and towering courtyards, Punakha Dzong is one of the most beautiful structures in the Himalayas. As you approach the Dzong, the rivers shimmer in shades of turquoise and blue, reflecting the sky and surrounding mountains. Jacaranda trees bloom with purple flowers, adding color to the landscape. Prayer flags line the bridge, fluttering in the breeze, carrying blessings across the valley. The atmosphere feels calm and sacred, as if the entire valley is wrapped in quiet reverence. Inside Punakha Dzong, the courtyards are spacious and peaceful. Monks walk slowly across stone paths, and the sound of chanting echoes through ancient halls. Intricate murals cover the walls, telling stories of Buddhist teachings, Bhutanese history, and spiritual legends. Wooden beams and doors are carved with dragons, flowers, and sacred symbols, showing the craftsmanship passed down through generations. Punakha is also known for its iconic suspension bridge, one of the longest in Bhutan. Stretching across the river, the bridge sways gently as you walk, giving you a thrilling view of the valley below. From the bridge, you can see farmers working in terraced rice fields, children playing near the riverbanks, and distant villages nestled among hills. It is a perfect place to pause, breathe, and take in the peaceful rhythm of rural Bhutan. The valley around Punakha is lush and fertile. Unlike the colder highlands, this region supports agriculture year-round. Rice paddies glow green in the monsoon season and golden during harvest. Orchards produce oranges, bananas, and other fruits, while small villages dot the landscape with traditional houses and prayer flags. Life here feels deeply connected to the land and the seasons. Punakha also holds deep royal and spiritual significance. Many important ceremonies, royal events, and religious festivals take place here. It is believed to be a place of blessings and prosperity, where kings and monks have gathered for centuries. The rivers, the mountains, and the Dzong together create a setting that feels both powerful and serene. As you explore the countryside, narrow roads lead to hidden temples, quiet monasteries, and panoramic viewpoints. From these vantage points, the entire valley unfolds like a painting, with rivers winding through fields and mountains rising in the distance. Mist often drifts through the valley in the early morning, creating a dreamlike atmosphere that feels untouched by time. The people of Punakha live a simple and peaceful life. Farmers tend their fields, monks study and meditate, and families gather in traditional homes built with wood and stone. Hospitality is warm and genuine. Visitors are often welcomed with smiles, tea, and stories about local traditions. In Punakha, community and nature are at the center of daily life. When evening arrives, the valley becomes quiet and golden. The rivers reflect the fading light. The Dzong stands proudly against the mountains, and the air feels soft and calm. It is a place where history, spirituality, and nature exist in perfect harmony. Punakha is more than a beautiful valley. It is a symbol of Bhutan's past and present, a place where kings once ruled and monks still pray, where rivers nourish the land and mountains protect the people. In this valley of happiness, you begin to understand why Bhutan is often described as a sanctuary for the soul. When the drums begin to beat and the masked dancers step into the courtyard, Bhutan transforms into a living festival of color, music, and sacred tradition. This is Chechu, one of the most important and spectacular celebrations in Bhutan, where spirituality, culture, and community come together in a powerful display of faith and joy. Bhutanese festivals are not just events. They are sacred gatherings that connect people with their beliefs, their history, and each other. Chechu festivals are held in different towns and villages across the country, usually in the courtyards of grand dzongs and monasteries. For locals, attending Chechu is both a spiritual duty and a social celebration. For travelers, it is a rare chance to witness a tradition that has remained alive for centuries. As the festival begins, people arrive from distant villages, dressed in their finest traditional clothing. Men wear colorful go robes, while women wear beautifully woven kira dresses, often decorated with intricate patterns and bright colors. Families gather, friends meet, and the courtyards fill with laughter, conversation, and anticipation. The atmosphere feels festive, respectful, and deeply rooted in tradition. The main attraction of Chechu is the masked dance, known as cham. Dancers wear elaborate masks representing gods, demons, animals, and spiritual beings. Their costumes are richly decorated with silk, embroidery, and flowing fabrics that move dramatically with each step. As the dancers spin and leap to the rhythm of drums, cymbals, and horns, the courtyard becomes a stage for ancient stories and spiritual teachings. Each dance tells a story from Buddhist mythology, symbolizing the battle between good and evil, the impermanence of life, and the path to enlightenment. Some dances are slow and graceful, while others are energetic and dramatic, with performers whirling in circles and stamping their feet in powerful rhythms. The masks are both beautiful and mysterious, transforming the dancers into sacred characters that seem to come alive before your eyes. Monks and trained performers often lead the dances, but community members also participate. The performances can last for hours, sometimes for several days, with each dance holding a special meaning. Between performances, monks perform rituals, blessings, and prayers, reinforcing the spiritual purpose of the festival. For Bhutanese people, watching these dances is believed to bring blessings and protect them from misfortune. Beyond the dances, Chechu is a time for community and connection. Vendors sell traditional snacks, handmade crafts, and religious items. Children run through the crowds. Elders sit together sharing stories, and travelers are welcomed with curiosity and kindness. The festival is one of the few times when entire communities gather in one place, making it a powerful expression of unity and shared identity. One of the most sacred moments of Chechu is the unfurling of the thongdrel, a massive religious tapestry displayed only once a year, often before sunrise. These giant cloth paintings depict Buddhist deities and spiritual scenes, and are believed to bring liberation to those who see them. People wake before dawn to witness this rare event, standing quietly in reverence as the thongdrel is revealed. The soundscape of Chechu is unforgettable. Drums echo through the valley, horns announce the start of ceremonies, and chants fill the air with a deep, resonant rhythm. The music is not just entertainment, it is a form of prayer, connecting performers and spectators in a shared spiritual experience. Even those who do not understand the symbolism can feel the power and emotion of the celebration. As the day progresses, sunlight illuminates the colorful costumes and masks, creating a vibrant scene against the white walls of the dzong and the blue Himalayan sky. The mountains stand silently in the background, as if witnessing the centuries-old tradition that continues to thrive in their shadow. Chechu festivals remind the world that culture is not something locked in museums. In Bhutan, it is alive, celebrated, and passed from one generation to the next. Children grow up watching these dances, learning their meanings, and eventually becoming performers themselves. Through festivals, Bhutan preserves its spiritual heritage while strengthening the bonds between its people. When the final dance ends and the crowds slowly disperse, the valley returns to its quiet rhythm. But the energy of Chechu lingers in the air, in the echoes of drums and the memories of swirling masks. It is more than a festival. It is a sacred celebration of life, faith, and tradition, and one of the most mesmerizing experiences you can witness in the kingdom of Bhutan. High in the Himalayas, beyond the towns, beyond the temples, and far from the noise of the modern world, lies a wilderness that feels untouched by time. Bhutan is one of the last great natural sanctuaries on Earth, a kingdom where forests, mountains, rivers, and wildlife are protected with deep respect. This is a land where nature is not just scenery, but a sacred part of life. More than 70% of Bhutan is covered in forest, making it one of the greenest countries in the world. Dense pine forests, ancient oak trees, and towering rhododendron groves blanket the hillsides, creating a rich and vibrant landscape. In spring, Wildflowers bloom across valleys and mountain slopes, painting the land with colors of red, pink, yellow, and purple. In autumn, forests glow with warm golden tones, while winter brings snow that transforms the mountains into a white dreamscape. The Himalayan mountains dominate Bhutan's northern horizon, rising sharply into the sky with jagged peaks and glaciers. Some of the highest and most remote mountains in the world lie within Bhutan's borders, untouched by mass tourism and modern development. High-altitude passes connect valleys, offering panoramic views that stretch across endless ridges and distant snowfields. These mountains are not just geographical features. They are sacred guardians in Bhutanese culture, believed to be home to spirits and deities. Rivers flow from the glaciers and mountains, carving deep valleys and nourishing fertile plains. The Phochu, Mochu, Wangchu, and many other rivers wind through Bhutan, creating stunning gorges and peaceful riverbanks. These waters sustain farming communities, support wildlife, and add to the dramatic beauty of the landscape. Mist often rises from the rivers in the early morning, creating scenes that feel like ancient paintings brought to life. Bhutan is also a biodiversity hotspot, home to some of Asia's rarest and most elusive animals. In the dense forests, red pandas move quietly through the trees, snow leopards roam high mountain ridges, and Bengal tigers wander through subtropical jungles in the south. Himalayan black bears, golden langurs, takins, and countless bird species thrive in protected national parks and reserves. Bhutan's commitment to conservation has allowed wildlife to flourish in a world where many species are disappearing. National parks and wildlife sanctuaries cover large portions of the country, forming a network of protected areas that connect different ecosystems. From tropical lowlands to alpine meadows, these parks preserve Bhutan's natural heritage for future generations. Trekking routes lead through untouched valleys, past crystal-clear lakes, and across high mountain passes where only yaks and shepherds roam. For adventurers, Bhutan offers some of the most pristine trekking experiences on the planet. High-altitude lakes shimmer like mirrors in the mountains, reflecting the sky and surrounding peaks. Many of these lakes are considered sacred, with local legends and spiritual stories attached to them. Prayer flags often line the shores, fluttering in the wind and carrying blessings across the water. The silence around these lakes is profound, broken only by the sound of wind, birds, and distant bells from grazing yaks. The climate in Bhutan changes dramatically with altitude. In the south, the air is warm and tropical, with lush forests and diverse wildlife. As you travel north, the climate becomes cooler and more temperate, with forests of pine and fir. Higher still, alpine landscapes appear, with snow-covered peaks and glacial valleys. This variety creates an incredible range of landscapes within a relatively small country, making every journey feel like traveling through multiple worlds. For Bhutanese people, nature is deeply spiritual. Mountains, rivers, forests, and animals are often considered sacred. Many communities practice sustainable farming, forest protection, and traditional land management. Bhutan's constitution requires the country to maintain at least 60% forest cover, a promise to nature that few nations have made. This commitment reflects the belief that protecting the environment is essential for happiness and well-being. As the sun rises over the Himalayas, light spills across ridges and valleys, revealing a world of raw beauty and silence. As night falls, stars fill the sky with clarity rarely seen elsewhere, and the mountains become dark silhouettes against the Milky Way. In Bhutan, nature is not just something you see, it is something you feel, something that surrounds you, and something that teaches humility and wonder. Bhutan's natural wonders remind us of what the world looked like before highways, skyscrapers, and crowded cities. It is a place where the earth still feels wild, powerful, and sacred. In this kingdom of forests and mountains, you begin to understand why Bhutan is not just protecting its nature, but its soul. In the central heart of Bhutan, where valleys open into rolling hills and ancient temples whisper stories of the past, lies Bumthang, a region often called the spiritual soul of the kingdom. While other places impress with dramatic cliffs and grand fortresses, Bumthang touches the heart with quiet beauty, sacred history, and a deep sense of peace that feels timeless. Bumthang is not just one valley, but a collection of 4 beautiful valleys, each with its own charm and character. Together, they form a landscape of gentle rivers, green meadows, pine forests, and traditional villages that feel untouched by modern rush. The air here is cool and fresh, carrying the scent of forests and wildflowers. Life moves slowly, guided by nature, tradition, and faith. This region is considered the birthplace of Bhutanese Buddhism. Many of Bhutan's oldest and most sacred temples are found here, making Bumthang a major pilgrimage destination. Jambe Lakhang, one of the oldest temples in Bhutan, dates back to the 7th century and is believed to have been built by Tibetan King Songtsen Gampo. Its simple white walls and quiet courtyards hide centuries of prayers, rituals, and devotion. Kurje Lakhang is another sacred site where Guru Rinpoche is said to have meditated and left an imprint of his body on a rock. The temple complex sits beside a peaceful river, surrounded by trees and prayer flags. Walking through the grounds feels like stepping into a sacred story, where legends and history blend seamlessly. Monks chant softly inside the temples, and pilgrims walk slowly around the sacred structures, spinning prayer wheels and murmuring mantras. Tamshing Lakhang, founded by a revered Buddhist master, is famous for its ancient murals and spiritual significance. Inside, walls are covered with paintings that tell stories of Buddhist teachings, deities, and the journey of the soul. The temple feels intimate and powerful, a place where centuries of devotion have soaked into the stone and wood. Beyond its temples, Bumthang is a land of natural beauty. Rivers wind through wide valleys, reflecting the sky and surrounding hills. Pine forests cover the slopes, and farms dot the landscape with fields of barley, potatoes, and buckwheat. Traditional houses with wooden balconies and whitewashed walls stand among trees, smoke rising from chimneys in the cool mountain air. Villages in Bumthang feel peaceful and welcoming. Locals greet visitors with warm smiles, often dressed in traditional go and kira. Farming, weaving, and religious life shape daily routines. Children walk to school along quiet roads. Elders gather in temples, and families share meals in wooden homes warmed by fireplaces. Life here feels grounded, connected, and deeply human. Bumthang is also known for its festivals, which are among the most sacred in Bhutan. The Jambe Lakhang Drup is famous for its nighttime rituals and masked dances performed in temple courtyards under the stars. These festivals combine spirituality, music, dance, and community, creating an atmosphere that feels both mystical and joyful. The landscapes of Bumthang change with the seasons. In spring, valleys bloom with flowers and fields turn green. In summer, rivers flow strongly, and forests are lush. Autumn brings golden fields and clear skies, while winter covers the valley in snow, turning villages into peaceful white scenes. Each season gives Bumthang a different personality, yet its calm spirit remains constant. Travelers often describe Bumthang as the most peaceful place in Bhutan. There are no crowds, no noise, no rush, just open valleys, quiet temples, and the sound of wind in the trees. It is a place to reflect, to breathe, and to feel connected to something older and deeper than modern life. Bumthang is not just a destination on a map. It is the spiritual heart of Bhutan, where legends were born, temples were built, and faith continues to guide everyday life. In these gentle valleys, surrounded by mountains and forests, you begin to understand the true essence of Bhutan, a land where spirituality and nature exist in perfect harmony. In Bhutan, culture is not something displayed for tourists or stored in history books. It is lived every day, woven into clothing, food, homes, and the rhythm of daily life. Here, tradition is not a memory of the past. It is a living, breathing part of the present. Walk through any town or village in Bhutan, and you will notice how people dress. Men wear the go, a knee-length robe tied with a belt, creating a large pocket where they carry everyday items. Women wear the kira, an elegant woven dress paired with a jacket and a belt. These garments are not costumes for festivals. They are worn to work, school, and government offices, a proud expression of identity and respect for tradition. Bhutanese homes reflect a deep connection to nature and craftsmanship. Houses are built with stone, wood, and clay, often painted white with beautifully carved wooden windows and balconies. Roofs are decorated with traditional designs, and walls may feature paintings of flowers, animals, and protective symbols. Inside, homes are warm and simple, with family altars, wooden furniture, and fireplaces that bring people together during cold mountain nights. Food in Bhutan is bold, simple, and deeply comforting. Rice is the main staple, often served with vegetables, lentils, and meat. The most famous dish is imadachi, a spicy mix of chilies and cheese that reflects Bhutan's love for heat and flavor. Meals are often shared with family and guests, accompanied by tea or homemade drinks. Eating together is a social ritual, a time for conversation, laughter, and connection. Daily life in Bhutan moves at a calm and mindful pace. Farmers work in terraced fields, planting rice, barley, and vegetables according to the seasons. Yaks graze in high mountain pastures, while cattle and goats roam lower valleys. In towns, shopkeepers open small stores, students walk to school in traditional dress, and artisans create textiles, wood carvings, and metalwork using techniques passed down for generations. Craftsmanship is a source of pride in Bhutan. Weaving, painting, carving, and metalwork are taught in schools and workshops, ensuring ancient skills are preserved. Each piece of fabric, each carved beam, and each painted temple wall carries stories and symbolism. Art here is not just decoration. It is a spiritual expression and a connection to heritage. Religion shapes daily routines in subtle but powerful ways. Many families start their day with prayers, spinning prayer wheels or lighting butter lamps at home altars. Temples and monasteries are active centers of community life, where monks study, chant, and guide spiritual practices. Even ordinary activities are influenced by beliefs in compassion, mindfulness, and balance. Community is at the center of Bhutanese life. Villages are close-knit, and people help each other during farming seasons, festivals, and ceremonies. Celebrations bring everyone together, from children to elders, creating strong social bonds. Respect for elders, kindness to neighbors, and hospitality to strangers are deeply valued. Visitors are often surprised by how welcoming and genuine people are. Education and modern life exist alongside tradition. Children study mathematics, science, and technology, but they also learn cultural values, ethics, and traditional arts. Young people use smartphones and social media, yet they still participate in festivals, wear traditional clothing, and respect religious practices. Bhutan shows that modern life does not have to erase identity. It can grow while honoring roots. The landscape itself shapes culture. Mountains, rivers, and forests are seen as sacred, and many communities practice sustainable living. Cutting trees, hunting, and development are carefully controlled to protect nature. This respect for the environment is not just policy. It is a cultural belief that nature and humans must live in harmony. In the evenings, families gather around warm fires, sharing meals and stories. Villages grow quiet under starlit skies, and prayer flags flutter softly in the wind. Life feels grounded, peaceful, and meaningful. Bhutanese culture is not loud or flashy. It is gentle, resilient, and deeply rooted in values of happiness, spirituality, and community. In a world that moves fast and forgets its traditions, Bhutan stands as a reminder that preserving culture is not about looking backward. It is about carrying wisdom forward. In a world obsessed with speed, money, and constant growth, Bhutan chose a different path. Instead of chasing wealth alone, this small Himalayan kingdom decided to measure something far more powerful: happiness. This idea became known as gross national happiness, a philosophy that has shaped Bhutan's policies, culture, and way of life for decades. Gross national happiness, often called GNH, is more than a slogan. It is a national guiding principle that asks a simple question: are people truly happy? Bhutan believes that progress should improve mental well-being, protect culture, preserve nature, and strengthen communities, not just increase income. This philosophy has turned Bhutan into one of the most unique countries in the world. The concept was introduced by Bhutan's fourth king, who believed that happiness was more important than economic growth. At a time when most countries were focused on industrialization and profit, Bhutan chose balance. The government created policies to protect forests, support cultural traditions, and ensure that development benefits everyone, not just a few. One of the pillars of gross national happiness is environmental protection. Bhutan is one of the few carbon-negative countries in the world, meaning it absorbs more carbon than it produces. Forests cover most of the land, and laws require the country to maintain a high percentage of forest cover forever. Hydropower provides clean energy, and wildlife corridors connect national parks, allowing animals to move freely. Nature is not sacrificed for development. It is protected as a source of life and happiness. Another pillar is cultural preservation. Bhutan encourages traditional clothing, architecture, language, and festivals. Schools teach children about their heritage, and communities actively celebrate rituals and traditions. By protecting culture, Bhutan ensures that people feel connected to their identity and history, which strengthens social harmony and pride. Mental and spiritual well-being is also central to GNH. Buddhism influences daily life, promoting compassion, mindfulness, and balance. Meditation, prayer, and community rituals are common, helping people cope with stress and find meaning. The government also focuses on education, healthcare, and social services, recognizing that true happiness comes from security, knowledge, and connection. Community vitality is another key element. Villages are designed to be close-knit, and people often rely on each other for support. Festivals, farming, and religious events bring people together, strengthening bonds across generations. In Bhutan, neighbors are not strangers. They are part of an extended family. Economic development still exists in Bhutan, but it is guided carefully. Tourism is limited to reduce environmental impact and protect culture. Industries are monitored to ensure they do not harm nature or communities. Instead of rapid expansion, Bhutan chooses sustainable growth that aligns with its values. Critics sometimes question whether happiness can truly be measured. Bhutan addresses this by conducting surveys that assess well-being, including health, education, living standards, environment, and emotional state. These surveys help shape policies and ensure that development improves quality of life, not just statistics. For visitors, Bhutan's philosophy is deeply inspiring. In a world where stress, pollution, and isolation are common, Bhutan offers a vision of balance. It shows that a nation can be modern without losing its soul, prosperous without destroying nature, and connected without losing tradition. Walking through Bhutan, you feel this philosophy everywhere. In clean rivers, preserved forests, peaceful monasteries, and smiling communities. In the absence of billboards, chaotic traffic, and overwhelming commercialism. In the way people greet each other, share meals, and respect nature. Gross national happiness is not about being perfect or carefree. It is about creating a society where people have the opportunity to live meaningful, balanced lives. Bhutan's journey is ongoing, facing challenges like globalization and modernization, but its commitment to happiness remains strong. In many ways, Bhutan is a living experiment, proving that another model of development is possible. It challenges the world to rethink what success truly means. Is it wealth and speed, or peace and purpose? Is it endless growth, or sustainable harmony? As you reflect on Bhutan's philosophy, it becomes clear that happiness is not a destination, but a way of living. And in the quiet valleys of the Himalayas, Bhutan continues to show the world that true progress begins with the well-being of its people, its culture, and its natural world. High in the eastern Himalayas, where mountains rise like ancient guardians and rivers, carved through deep valleys, Bhutan reveals its final secret, a kingdom of wonder, peace, and timeless beauty. As our journey through this extraordinary land comes to a close, we reach the places that capture the essence of Bhutan, a land where nature, spirituality, and culture exist in perfect harmony. No description of Bhutan would be complete without its breathtaking landscapes. From the snow-capped peaks of the north to the lush subtropical valleys of the south, every region offers scenes that seem almost unreal. Mist drifts through pine forests, alpine meadows glow with wildflowers, and rivers sparkle in the sun as they wind toward distant horizons. Even the smallest village is framed by mountains, reminding travelers that this is a land shaped by nature and revered as sacred. Bhutan's sacred sites stand as monuments to faith and devotion. Monasteries cling to cliffs, dzongs rise at river confluences, and temples hide in quiet valleys. Each structure tells a story of history, legend, and spirituality. Tiger's Nest Monastery, perched impossibly on a rock face, reminds us that courage and devotion can defy gravity. Punakha Dzong, serene and powerful, shows the connection between governance, faith, and community. And the ancient temples of Bumthang reveal centuries of wisdom, meditation, and continuity in a rapidly changing world. The people of Bhutan carry culture and tradition into every moment of life. Traditional clothing, music, and handicrafts are not just ceremonial. They are part of daily identity. Families gather for meals, children learn ancient arts alongside modern studies, and communities celebrate festivals with joy, devotion, and energy. At Chechu festivals, mask dances animate courtyards, blending myth, history, and faith. Here, spirituality is not distant. It is lived, breathed, and celebrated. Nature and culture are inseparable in Bhutan. Forests cover more than 2/3 of the country, and rivers flow through valleys as lifelines for both people and wildlife. Rare animals, from snow leopards to red pandas, roam freely in protected sanctuaries. Sacred lakes mirror the sky. Prayer flags flutter above alpine passes, and mountains are honored as living spirits. In Bhutan, protecting the environment is a spiritual act, not merely a policy choice. What makes Bhutan truly remarkable is its philosophy of gross national happiness. Here, progress is measured not by wealth, but by the well-being of people, the preservation of culture, and the care for nature. In a world dominated by speed, consumption, and comparison, Bhutan reminds us that true success comes from balance, community, and peace. Happiness is nurtured by relationships, mindfulness, and respect for the world around us. Traveling through Bhutan is also a journey into simplicity and mindfulness. Roads wind through quiet valleys, rivers hum softly, and villages seem suspended in time. Technology exists, but it does not overwhelm. Life moves at a pace, guided by nature and culture, allowing residents and visitors alike to experience the profound satisfaction of living fully in each moment. Food, music, and art further reflect the values of Bhutan. Meals are shared and hearty, with flavors that celebrate the land. Music and chants resonate from temples, forests, and homes, blending human expression with natural acoustics. Hand-woven fabrics, intricate carvings, and painted murals preserve stories, beliefs, and the touch of countless artisans over centuries. As the sun rises or sets over the Himalayan peaks, the valleys and rivers are bathed in golden light. Prayer flags ripple in the wind, and the mountains seem to exhale their timeless wisdom. In these moments, visitors sense why Bhutan is considered a sanctuary, not just for tourists, but for the spirit itself. It is a place where reflection comes naturally, and where the heart feels unburdened. Bhutan is more than a collection of destinations. It is a philosophy, a vision, and a living experiment in harmony. Every mountain, temple, village, and forest contributes to a landscape of peace, meaning, and beauty. It teaches that progress need not destroy culture, that development can respect nature, and that happiness can be a national goal, not just an individual dream. As we conclude our journey, imagine the wind carrying the fragrance of pine and prayer incense, the sun glinting off rivers, and the distant sound of monks' chants echoing through the valleys. Bhutan leaves a lasting impression, a memory of mountains, people, and values that remain untouched by the rush of the modern world. This is Bhutan, a kingdom of wonder, a land of happiness, and a sanctuary for the soul. In its forests, temples, and valleys, it reminds us of the timeless truth that beauty, peace, and meaning are among the greatest treasures a country or a life can hold. To visit Bhutan is not merely to travel, it is to witness a vision of harmony that inspires, uplifts, and transforms every heart fortunate enough to enter its sacred mountains. High above the valleys and rivers of Bhutan, where the clouds swirl around jagged peaks and the air carries the faint scent of pine and incense, one begins to understand the profound magic of this Himalayan kingdom. Bhutan is not only a place of extraordinary landscapes and ancient temples, it is a living testament to balance, spirituality, and the enduring power of culture. As we continue our journey through this mystical land, we delve deeper into the wonders that make Bhutan unlike anywhere else on Earth. The mountains here are more than just scenery. They are guardians, teachers, and sacred spaces. In the north, snow-capped peaks rise relentlessly, their ridges etched with glaciers that feed the rivers flowing through the heart of the kingdom. Hikers and pilgrims alike are drawn to these highlands, where alpine meadows bloom with wildflowers in spring, and winter snow blankets the slopes in silent majesty. Each pass and ridge carries stories of saints, mystics, and travelers who've crossed these paths for centuries, leaving traces of faith and legend in every step. Rivers in Bhutan are lifelines of both nature and culture. The Pho Chu, Mochu, and Wangchu carve valleys that host villages, rice paddies, and terraced farms. Their waters reflect the skies and mountains, and their banks are often lined with prayer flags, fluttering like messages of devotion to the heavens. In early morning light, mist rises from the rivers, creating an ethereal atmosphere that seems suspended between reality and dream. Fishermen cast their nets in quiet rivers, while children play along the banks, their laughter mingling with the soft rush of water. Bhutanese valleys themselves are treasures of serenity and heritage. Villages are scattered amid fields of barley, buckwheat, and potatoes, their whitewashed houses decorated with carved wooden windows and painted motifs. Smoke curls from chimneys, signaling warmth and domestic life within. Villagers tend their farms, care for livestock, and gather in communal spaces for social and religious activities. Life here is measured by seasons, cycles of planting and harvest, and the quiet rhythm of faith. The kingdom's biodiversity is unparalleled. Dense forests shelter rare and endangered species. Red pandas leap among bamboo groves, snow leopards roam high mountain ridges, and takins, Bhutan's national animal, move gracefully through misty forests. Birds with vibrant plumage call from treetops, and insects, flowers, and fungi flourish in untouched ecosystems. Bhutan's dedication to conservation is unwavering. Over 50% of the country is protected land, including national parks and wildlife corridors, creating a sanctuary where nature thrives in harmony with human life. Cultural preservation is woven into the fabric of daily existence. Traditional weaving, wood carving, and metalwork are practiced in homes, schools, and workshops. Each textile, altar, and architectural detail tells a story. Hand-painted murals in temples depict legends, teachings, and moral lessons that have been passed down through generations. Children learn these arts alongside modern subjects, ensuring that Bhutan's heritage remains a living, evolving part of everyday life, rather than a relic of the past. Festivals continue to play a central role in sustaining Bhutanese identity. In courtyard after courtyard of dzongs across the country, masked dances tell timeless stories of deities, demons, and heroes. These performances are not mere entertainment, they are sacred rituals, a spiritual bridge connecting the living with the divine. Observers, whether locals or travelers, are enveloped in a sensory experience of color, music, and meaning, feeling the energy of community and devotion in every step, every spin, every beat of the drum. Bhutan's philosophy of gross national happiness guides both citizens and leaders in making decisions that prioritize well-being over mere economic growth. Development projects are evaluated not only for their financial impact, but also for their environmental sustainability, cultural preservation, and contribution to human happiness. This principle is visible everywhere. In the careful integration of modern infrastructure with traditional architecture, in the protection of forests and rivers, and in the slow, deliberate pace of life that allows people to live fully in the present. Even urban centers like Thimphu reflect this balance. Streets are calm, architecture follows traditional forms, and community life is prioritized over commerce. Temples and dzongs coexist with schools and offices, connecting the spiritual and secular in daily routines. Nature is never far. Hills, rivers, and forests frame the cityscape, reminding residents that the land is sacred and life is best lived in harmony with it. Travelers in Bhutan often remark on the transformative quality of the experience. Here, amidst the mountains, rivers, and valleys, one is encouraged to
slow down, to reflect, and to connect to nature, to others, and to oneself. Each monastery visited, each trail walked, and each conversation with locals deepens the understanding of a culture that measures wealth not in currency, but in harmony, contentment, and connection. Bhutan teaches that true wonder lies not only in grand vistas and architectural marvels, but also in mindfulness, kindness, and the quiet rhythms of daily life. Here, in the misty valleys and sacred mountains, the world feels expansive, yet intimate, timeless, yet alive. Every temple, every prayer flag, every village, every forest whispers the same lesson. Life is most meaningful when lived in balance with nature, with culture, and with one another. As the sun dips behind the peaks, painting the valleys with golden shadow, Bhutan reveals its final lesson. The greatest treasures are not material, but spiritual. In its mountains, rivers, forests, and temples, it invites all who enter to witness the harmony of a nation that has chosen wisdom, peace, and happiness over haste and wealth. In this kingdom of wonders, the soul is nourished, the mind is calmed, and the heart is inspired, leaving a memory that endures long after one leaves the Himalayan skies behind. Far beyond the cities, dzongs, and monasteries, Bhutan's true wonder lies in the quiet spaces where nature, culture, and spirituality meet. The eastern valleys, the remote passes, and the hidden forests reveal a kingdom untouched by haste, a place where
life unfolds in rhythm with mountains, rivers, and seasons. Here, every step becomes a meditation, every view a reminder of the beauty and impermanence of the world. Traveling into Bhutan's eastern highlands, the roads narrow and twist through dense pine forests and terraced hillsides. Villages appear like mirages, with whitewashed houses, carved wooden balconies, and smoke curling from chimneys into crisp mountain air. Children run along paths carrying bundles of firewood or books, their laughter echoing against the ridges. Farmers tend terraced fields, their work synchronized with the land, the seasons, and centuries of inherited knowledge. It is a rhythm of life that feels both ancient and perfectly suited to its surroundings. In these highlands, the mountains dominate every horizon. Peaks rise dramatically, some shrouded in clouds, others crowned with snow that glints in sunlight. Alpine meadows bloom with wildflowers in spring, painting the landscape with brilliant colors, while in autumn, golden grasses sway in cool winds. Streams trickle down rocky slopes, eventually joining rivers that carve deep gorges through the valleys. The air is clean, carrying scents of pine, wild herbs, and the faint aroma of incense from distant temples. One of the most sacred sites in eastern Bhutan is the Tang Valley, home to remote monasteries and ancient temples. Here, the architecture seems born from the mountains themselves. Dzongs and lakangs perch on ridges or beside rivers, their white walls glowing softly against the dark stone and green forests. Monks chant in quiet courtyards, spinning prayer wheels and performing rituals passed down through generations. These sacred spaces are not just visually stunning, they carry the weight of centuries of devotion, learning, and spiritual practice. Wildlife is abundant and deeply respected. Red pandas move silently through bamboo groves, snow leopards stalk the ridges above, and herds of takins graze in alpine pastures. Birds with brilliant plumage flit between trees, their calls mingling with the sound of mountain streams. Bhutanese people have long understood that protecting these creatures is not just ecological, it is spiritual. The forests, rivers, and animals are considered sacred, part of a living system that nourishes both the land and the soul. Eastern Bhutan is also where festivals take on a deeply mystical quality. In remote valleys, locals gather in dzong courtyards to perform masked dances under the stars. The cham dances, representing gods, demons, and mythical creatures, tell stories of morality, karma, and spiritual triumph. Fireworks and drums punctuate the night air, while the fragrance of butter lamps fills the courtyard. Travelers watching these dances are not mere spectators. They become participants in an ancient dialogue between humanity and the divine. The people of eastern Bhutan live in harmony with the land. Farming, weaving, and craft work are not just occupations, they are extensions of culture and belief. Women weave intricate textiles that carry symbolic patterns, while men carve wood and stone with reverence. Families gather in the evenings around fire, sharing meals of rice, vegetables, cheese, and chili, accompanied by stories and laughter. Hospitality is genuine and instinctive. Strangers are welcomed as friends, often offered tea and tales of the mountains and ancestors. Even in the modern era, eastern Bhutan resists the rush of globalization. Roads remain narrow and winding. Technology is present but unobtrusive, and villages retain their traditional structures. This intentional preservation allows visitors to experience a culture living in balance with its environment, where progress enhances life without erasing identity. The rivers, too, are more than lifelines, they are sacred symbols. The Mochu and Fochu flow through valleys, supporting agriculture, spirituality, and daily life. Bridges, often built of wood and stone, connect communities while also symbolizing passage and continuity. Fishermen cast nets quietly in the early morning, their movements mirrored in the river's calm surface. Prayer flags hang along banks and bridges, carrying blessings to the wind, a visual chorus of faith and hope. As the day wanes, mountains cast long shadows over valleys, painting fields, forests, and rivers in golden light. Prayer flags ripple in the wind, their colors vivid against snow-dusted peaks. Monks' chants echo through temples, blending with birdsong and rushing streams. Villages quiet, smoke from chimneys drifts lazily, and a profound sense of stillness settles over the landscape. In eastern Bhutan, one feels the essence of the kingdom most strongly. It is a place where the human spirit is nurtured by nature, culture, and faith. Here, time slows, the heart opens, and the mind is invited to witness the harmony of a world shaped by reverence, simplicity, and wisdom. Mountains, rivers, forests, and temples are not merely scenery, they are teachers, reminders, and living embodiments of Bhutan's guiding principles. This is the magic of Eastern Bhutan, a land that combines remote beauty with spiritual depth, where every valley, every monastery, and every forest whispers the same lesson, that true wealth is found in harmony, connection, and the pursuit of happiness. It is a place that leaves an indelible mark on all who enter, a final jewel in the crown of a kingdom unlike any other. As the sun sets over the Himalayan peaks, the valleys of Bhutan glow with golden light, and the chants of monks echo softly through ancient temples. From sacred monasteries to untouched forests, Bhutan is a land where nature, culture, and spirituality exist in perfect harmony. We hope this journey has inspired you to explore, reflect, and experience the beauty of this remarkable kingdom for yourself. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to join us on more journeys to the world's most amazing places.